Your scouting party has not returned, and half of the intruders escaped your guards.
Sorry, mistress. We mucked up.
Until their sanctuary is found, I will take something precious from you every hour that passes. A trinket, a tongue, a limb.
I ain't no use without my limbs. The lads'll make the prisoner squeal soon enough, I swear.
Silence now, creature, or I will silence you forever.
When you think of Minthara, I'm sure most people think of her as a sadist drow. Well, you wouldn't be wrong in thinking that, especially with drow culture and upbringing. But there is more to her than what the game initially shows, and that's what today's video is all about: her lore, her story. Before we dive in, if you're new here and you like my content, considering subscribing, give me a like, and maybe join my Discord. Thank you to all my members. If you want early access to videos like this, along with some other fun perks, then hit join down below. Before we dive in, I do want to say thank you to this YouTube creator you see on screen now. Most of the clips are from his channel, link in the description down below. Minthara was born into an ancient house of Bainray of Menzoberranzan, also known as the City of Spiders. This drow city is located in the Underdark, specifically the Upper North Dark region. It is the most famous drow city in all of Faerun, and even home to the hero Odrich Duardin. Her house was the first drow house of Menzoberranzan and had been for centuries. If you know anything about drow culture, you can imagine how rough her upbringing truly could be. Still, she was raised as a noble in the plateau above the city expanse. Like most drow, she was taught the ways of her goddess Loth, the Queen of Spiders. And for context, for those who don't know drow culture, Loth is considered evil because her aspects include cruelty, bloodshed, betrayal, and absolute veneration. Hence, the evil conception about drows. Even as a child though, Minthara dealt with the cruel ways of her people.
I am a Bainray, born into the city's most ancient and powerful house. My life was one of privilege and danger. Like you, I lived in Kuelarzol, high above the city's sprawl. I enjoyed every luxury, whether harvested in the Underdark or stolen from the surface, and I survived my first assassination attempt while I still suckled at my mother's breast. I tasted her blood that day. She covered my body with her own, and a blade bit deep into her chest, almost puncturing her heart. When I came of age, she tried to take my life herself, and I gave her fresh scars to match those she earned protecting me.
With her life as a noble in Menzoberranzan, then how did she actually become a part of the Absolute? Well, it starts when two true souls came preaching messages of togetherness to Menzoberranzan. And with drow upbringing, Menzoberranzan is not fertile grounds for such messages. She killed them and hanged their bodies in her garden. Minthara gathered her forces to march against Moonrise Towers, but when she arrived, it was not a battle she found, but instead a trap hidden with pleasantries. She expected a battle, but instead Ketheric Thorm was expecting her and even invited Minthara to participate in a grand feast alongside Orin the Red. And we all know how crazy that psychopath is. This feast was meant to praise Minthara's ego, allowing her guard to be lowered.
To think, I thought her to be speaking for the Absolute. I worshipped that woman. She is the Iblis who indoctrinated me with the Absolute's lies. When I first visited Moonrise, I stood before the Absolute in awe. It was more of an idea than an entity. Pure love, total power. Orin was by my side. She told me that God had chosen me to be a true soul, blessed and adored. Now I know that those memories are lies. There was no God. Orin held me down in a cocoon of flesh. while a mind flayer forced a parasite into my brain. And she laughed at my fear.
With the parasite infection, Minthara carried out massacres for the cult against any who would refuse to be converted. And in time, she began to admire Orin, even to the point of worship. This of course led to more manipulation by Orin, convincing Minthara she was the Absolute's chosen weapon. And this is where the character meets Minthara. She left Moonrise Towers with new motivation, seeking the weapon for her goddess's desires, and Minthara was more than eager to prove herself. But if you do end up recruiting Minthara, whether by murdering the Grove or by other means, you will see the true version of herself. Is she cruel? Yes. But I think she is not necessarily as evil as one might think, more of a gray area.
I was the Absolute's dagger. I remember every throat that it held me to, and every drop of blood it forced me to spill. I take no responsibility for the lives I took. I did nothing in the Absolute's name. I was merely a weapon that it wielded. I would rather die than endure it again. The tadpole, the Absolute. They work together like a drug. I did not feel I was compelled to act against my will. I felt ecstatic to serve. Every action seemed a deliberate choice, the best choice, even though I could no more have resisted its commands than flesh can resist decay. Even rational minds like ours cannot reject such a powerful influence. The Absolute can make the impossible seem inevitable. I took up my oath long ago, when I swore bloody vengeance against any who defied Lolth. Now, I myself have sinned against the Spider Queen. Though my faith is shattered, my oath endures. I am sworn to destroy all those who serve the Absolute.
What do you think? I definitely encourage you to do a playthrough with her at your side, as you will see some fantastic character growth.
What was I when you first knew me? Before you ever knew me. A mad woman, butchering prey in the name of a god who would discard me without a thought once I was no longer of use. Baal, Lolth, the Absolute. They do not have followers. They only have victims, and they reward devotion with death. It is only because of you that I did not meet the same fate as Orin, lost to madness and blood. If you had killed me when we first met, I would have been just one more casualty of your crusade against the Absolute, and nobody would remember me.
And depending on the ending that you choose, and if you decide to be her lover or not, you can actually go back to her house and try to take it over. Or at least that's what the game implies.
Now go. Mingle, carouse, indulge. Tomorrow we return to the Underdark, and our campaign against my house continues. We will need all of our strength.
Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. There's plenty more dialogue, especially between Minthara and her companions, especially with Karlach. I highly suggest you do a run on your own because the interactions are truly something to see. I'm Ronan. Thank you for watching.